Welcome back to my art space. Today I want to talk about 5 reasons why you should try watercolor pencils. I've had my watercolor pencils for a few years now, but just in the last one I've been experimenting more with them and I've discovered a few advantages that I think that will be helpful to you if you're starting your watercolor journey or you're just curious about this underrated art medium. What I've discovered about watercolor pencils that makes me to come back to them more often is that they are easy to carry, which I love because I always like to carry something with me. They are highly pigmented, and this makes them very durable, meaning that with very little you can paint a lot. And even though they are pencils, they give you the possibility to mix pigments and to layer colors on top of each other on the paper. And also because the process of painting with watercolor pencils is that you color first and add water later, this helps you to learn how much water you actually need. So let's break down these 5 points why you should try watercolor pencils. What I like to carry with me almost always are a pencil, an eraser, a few pens, my watercolor pencils of course, my travel brushes that you can switch for water brushes, a couple of cups, a sketchbook, or a few loose sheets. As you can see, I travel light, but I travel with enough that allows me to paint whenever and whatever, like the time that I painted in a cafe with a friend, or by the river in one of our travels, or the time that I painted in our hotel room because we got stuck in because of the rain. So because you can carry them around in a small pouch and you don't need actually a palette or an easel to carry with you, watercolor pencils are a very convenient art medium to carry around with you at any time. Like I said, they are highly pigmented, which makes them very durable. Of course, that depends on the brand, but if you use any watercolor pencils of any of the top brands, you will find that you don't need to color too strong or too deep to get a nice coverage or a nice layer. I've been using them for a year and I feel like I've painted a lot with them, and I think I sharpened them once or twice each. So that is something that really surprised me because I feel like I will paint a lot with them and that they will last a long time with me. Another thing that really surprised me to discover is the possibility to mix the pigment and layer the colors. To mix the pigments, what you need to do is first to color with one of the pigments and then color with another one on top of it and then water them together. This way you can create other colors. Like in this painting of the plums. I don't have a purple pigment, so I used the blue one and the red one to create the purple that I needed. This also allows you to build layers to create gradients or to create shadows. Like in this painting of the lemonade, I was able to create a gradient from green to yellow in the glass. Or like in the painting of these waffles, I was able to create the shadows of the syrup going into the pockets of the waffles. Keep in mind that using good quality of watercolor paper is important to create layers, so I would recommend to use anything from 200 grams and up. This possibility to mix pigments brings me to a bonus point, which is that you only need a basic palette to start painting. If you're like me that likes to stick with a budget but would like to try watercolor pencils, then you only need a basic palette to start. For example, a warm and cool version of yellow, red, and blue, maybe a couple of earth tones, and maybe something specific to your style. For example, if you like to paint florals, then maybe a couple of pinks or violets that will help you in your paintings. By the way, if you like these small and cute paintings, I created backgrounds for your smart devices that you can check in my art store. And lastly, I've discovered that watercolor pencils have helped me to understand how much water I actually need for small paintings like these ones. Sometimes watercolor feels frustrating because water is a very difficult medium to control. It's a little bit easier if you use larger papers, but for small sketchbooks like this, I've figured that the less water is better. So watercolor pencils are perfect for that because you only need a little bit of water to activate the pigment. So that has helped me to paint more often because I feel like I don't have to plan a lot ahead of time. I can just grab my sketchbook, draw something simple, colored, and then water, and it's practically done. So that way I can carry my art tools with me all the time, and whenever I feel like it, I can start something. So there you have it. Those are my 5 reasons why I think you should try watercolor pencils, especially if you have them laying around not knowing what to do with them. And if you do grab for them, please let me know because I would like to know what you create with them. And also let me know if you like to see more paintings with watercolor pencils, because now that spring is here in my side of the world, I have the perfect excuse to paint more flowers, fruits, or even landscapes. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel because that helps me to create more of them. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!